Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Basement Buffs with what I watched this month. This month being June, even though we're halfway through July. We're going to figure out a recording schedule, I promise, but we just work while we can. Uh, this month, I didn't watch a lot in terms of movies. I watched two series with the apostrophe at the end, but not before the S, after the S. So, like, series. I watched two series and like 10 movies. And I fell off towards the end of the month. Like halfway through June, I just sort of stopped watching shit. I don't remember why, but I was busy. I also didn't realize how long June was because looking at what I watched at the beginning of the month and then looking at what I watched at the end of the month, I realized it's a big month. Days are long. Time's a construct. I don't like it. Um, but I started the month watching the HBO Max series Mayor of Easttown, starring Kate Winslet. It's a murder mystery about a detective trying to solve the disappearance and murder of a young girl in small town Pennsylvania. Kate Winslet plays the main character. She fucking kills it. Evan Peters is in it. He kills it. Everybody in the show fucking rocks it. But the show was amazing too. The story is really great. And when it starts off, it's like, oh, this is going to be a by the numbers murder mystery. And then at the end of every episode, something gets introduced that completely rocks your like it's a murder mystery, so as you watch it you're trying to solve it. That's how I watch murder mysteries. And at the end of every episode something gets shown that like fucks with what you think happened. So like at the end of the first episode I'm like, oh, I know who killed the girl. And then at the end of the seventh episode, which is the last episode because it's a mini series, I had no fucking idea who killed the girl. It turns out I was wrong. I was so fucking wrong. But it was so good. It was just really good. Everybody should watch it. Check it out. It's really good. 8 out of 10 for Mayor of Easttown. I followed that up with the romantic comedy The Big Sick because, a little lighter tone, less death, just needed that. Starring Kumail Nanjiani and Holly Hunter, Zoe Kazan, and Ray Romano in my favorite role that Ray Romano has ever played. And I didn't think I'd ever say that because I don't really like Ray Romano, but he was awesome in this movie. It's a really cute movie. It's the true story of Kumail Nanjiani and his wife meeting and falling in love and then breaking up, and then she goes into a coma. Yeah, by the numbers. She goes into a coma and he becomes like the caretaker for her essentially, and it's really cute and it's actually really funny too. I do love this movie a lot. Uh 7 out of 10. And then I followed that up with the HBO Max movie version of In the Heights, and it made me realize two things. One, I don't really like Lin-Manuel Miranda's music anymore. I did in high school when Hamilton came out and was really hot shit, and now I realize I don't really like it. Most of these songs have the same tune as songs from Hamilton, and once I realized that, it just fucking annoyed me. Also, the movie is 2.5 hours, and that's too fucking long. Not in the way of that people are like, oh, if I watch a movie and it's longer than 2 hours, I'm gonna get bored. I watch like 4 hour movies because I'm bored. Like, it's fun to watch long movies. But if the movie isn't great and is boring, I'm not gonna care for 2.5 hours. And this movie fell into that category. A lot of the characters, I don't remember their names. A lot of things that happen don't really matter. Some of the songs are catchy, but I can't remember any of them. There are two scenes that I think are memorable, and it's a swimming pool scene that's really cool. And there's a character that dies, and they do like a morning candlelight vigil for her, and that's cool. Everything else in this movie, I don't really remember. Everybody in it is fine. That's not to say anybody in it does particularly bad. Like Anthony Ramos is great, Corey Hawkins is great. Like everybody in this movie is good. It happens to just be not a good or great movie. I don't think it's anybody's fault. I just think it's too fucking long, and I think the music gets boring, and you forget the songs soon after watching it. 4 out of 10. I'll kill you. But I followed that up because I also hate musicals, so I don't even know why I watched In the Heights because I'm not a musical guy. But I followed In the Heights up with Avengers Infinity War because I was craving just a good action movie. And then I was like, well, this one's a good action movie. And if you're in the very, very, very rare community of people that haven't seen this movie, it is also 2.5 hours. But front to back, it's pretty much just superheroes getting their asses kicked. And it's pretty fucking awesome. Like, this is my favorite Avengers movie. because it's just superheroes losing in a really great way. Like, I remember when it came out, it ended, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know how, but it ends with the bad guy winning and killing half of humanity as a whole. Um, that feeling of watching that in a movie theater was amazing, but also just to see the heroes lose after fighting for 2.5 hours is really cool because it's just front to back action, and you're like, oh my god, the heroes are gonna win, and then they fucking don't. And that feeling is just, I don't know why I like it. I don't think I'm nihilistic. Uh Turns out I might be. I gotta talk to my therapist. But I love this movie. Some of the action sequences are fucking amazing. The whole sequence where Iron Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, like there's so many superheroes, all fight the one bad guy, which is the other really cool part, is there's just really one fucking bad guy. Um that whole sequence when they're fighting him on his home planet is amazing. He throws a moon on Iron Man, like an actual fucking like the moon on a guy. It's awesome. And I love this movie, and I don't think I'll ever get bored of it. It's just a really well done, fun superhero action movie. And I followed that up. Oh, 10 out of 10 for that, for Infinity War. I'm really bad at doing ratings. No, wait, I did one for In the Heights. I'm okay at this. 10 out of 10 for Infinity War. I followed that up with Avengers Endgame, the sequel to Infinity War. I like this one. I don't love this one. As time has gone on and I've rewatched this movie, it has had the opposite effect of Infinity War. Whereas with Infinity War, I watch it again and again, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this movie. With Endgame, I watch it again and again, and I'm like, they could have trimmed some stuff out of this one. It's 3 hours long, which isn't to say it's not great. The last hour is just a battle scene, and it's pretty epic. Like, it's when if I'm not fucking putting a spoiler warning. It's the everybody saw this fucking movie, and if you didn't, you're not a hipster. You're an asshole. The whole end hour, the last hour of this movie is just a giant battle scene with amazing moments. Like Captain America wields Thor's hammer. Thor redeems himself from thinking that he can't be a hero by wielding his new axe. It's fucking dope. They all fight Thanos. It's pretty fucking cool. They bring back all the heroes at the same time, and then Captain America gets to say Avengers Assembled. That's fucking cool too. Iron Man dies. Big ups to Iron Man. That being said, the first hour of this movie, less exciting. The first 15 minutes are Iron Man floating in space, and that could have just not been shown. They could have done a montage. I don't fucking know. I don't know how they could have trimmed it, but they could have trimmed it. Stuff that they show just didn't need to be shown. But it is great. It's a fun movie. It is still awesome. Like, it's an awesome movie. Especially this and Infinity War. If you watch them back to back, it's a fucking it's an event. And that's what I did, and it was pretty cool. But Endgame is definitely the weaker of the two. So 8 out of 10. Simply because I just don't like it as much as Infinity War. I followed that up with Bo Burnham's Inside. If you haven't heard of this, I don't know how. This comedy special came out and has been getting more praise than any comedy special I've seen in the past like 5 fucking years. And I'm in the minority. I don't get it. The funny parts are really funny, but then it becomes uncomfortable. I talked about it on our podcast, Here's the Thing. Little plug. There you go. I think Bo Burnham's a genius. I think he's very talented, and I think that he writes very sharp, witty comedy. I don't understand why everybody's so surprised that when you take a witty, funny, smart person and you throw them in a room for a year where they can't do anything, like, no shit, he made a really, really good special. Like, people that are like, oh my God, I just can't believe that he made this. It's like, if you lock a talented person in a room with all the shit they need to make you something, they're going to make you something, and it's probably going to be good. That being said, it does get uncomfortable. I am glad that after it came out, he posted a picture of himself outside, because my man needs to go outside. But yeah, the funny bits are really funny. White Girl's Instagram is very funny. There's a bit where he reacts to his own special as it's happening, and then he reacts to him reacting to it, and then he reacts to him reacting to his special. It's pretty funny. It's very smartly written. I just don't get why everybody's like blown away by it, but that might just be me. I'm not going to give a rating to it just because it's only an hour and like 15 minutes. So I think people should check it out. So check it out because, again, I'm in the minority. People love this special. I followed that up with the new Pixar movie, Luca. I have since watched this movie 3 times. This movie's so fucking cute. I love it. It's feel good as fuck. There's really no bad guy. The only bad guy is like a school bully. It's just about 2 friends being friends in Italy in like the 50s, and they really just want a Vespa. Like they really fucking love Vespas. And they find out that they can win this like triathlon of sorts at a small town and win enough money to buy themselves a shitty Vespa. And it's their dream. Like, and they're both little kids. Like, there's nothing more happening in this movie. People are interpreting it, which I think is awesome. But I think it's just really fucking cute. And I think it's funny. And the visuals in it are astounding. Like, Pixar killed it. And I really love this movie. I love this movie a lot. I'm probably going to watch it again this month. I've already watched it twice in July. I'm probably going to watch it another time. It's just really great. And yeah, I think people should watch it because it came out and people were like, Pixar is just, it's just not as good as their other shit. It's so cute though. Like, it's fucking awesome. It's very clearly made for kids, but it's really cute. I watched it high as shit and almost cried. Like, it's so fucking good. 8 out of 10. I followed that up with Raya and the Last Dragon, that new Disney movie that came out in like March. This movie's like, if it could have come out in movie theaters and had a bigger release, it would have been the new generation of kids Mulan. Like, it's that cool. The action sequences are fucking cool. They're great. The characters are funny. The dialogue's funny. Like, it's just a really, really well-made Disney action princess. It's not even a princess movie. Well, I guess it is because she is. Yeah, it is. It's a badass princess movie made by Disney with really beautiful animation and a really fun story. So, like, everybody should watch it, and I think it's cool, and it's basically the new Mulan in my eyes. It's really fucking awesome. That being said, it does fall a little flat, and I didn't love it. It fell into cliches of this type of story, like hero has to save the world, so you know what's going to happen. But I loved it. 7 out of 10. I followed that up by watching the entire miniseries on HBO called It's a Sin, and everybody should watch this movie because it's awesome. But also, I cried like a fucking bitch. This miniseries tells the story of a group of friends in 1980s England as the AIDS epidemic starts happening, and they're gay. So, most of them get AIDS. And with that, it becomes very sad. I watched this because there was a Sunday morning profile on Neil Patrick Harris, and they made it seem like a fun show. And although the characters are really well written and there are funny moments between the characters, this show is heavy. As the epidemic starts happening, different characters have different reactions to it. Some of them stop sleeping with people outright, and others don't believe they'll get it because nobody else they know has. Obviously, that character, you know what happens to that character. Clearly, they get it. But you care for these characters, like they're really well written. One of the characters is a straight woman who is best friends with all of these characters, and she goes from friend to caregiver throughout the course of the series. It is heartbreaking, but so well made and so well written, and I love this show. It's only 5 episodes, and they're all under an hour. I think I did the math, and it's like 3.5 hours worth of watching. And it's worth sitting down and watching it all in one sitting. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. 10 out of 10. And then I followed that up with a movie that I was really excited about last year and really wanted to see. And then I heard nothing about it come award season. And I also couldn't find it anywhere. And then I opened up Hulu and it's on Hulu. So I was like, I'm going to watch it. And it's called Supernova. And it stars Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci as a gay couple who are married. And they've been married. They don't say how long they've been married for, I don't think. but it's very clear they've been married for a long time. They've been together for a long time at least. And they're going on this like road trip. And Stanley Tucci's character is in the early stages of dementia. And it's about how they're going to cope with that. And you see him deteriorate over time, and how, although he's in the early stages, it is starting to affect him. And it is sad. It was beautifully acted. Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci kill it. Stanley Tucci, as usual, my man is a god. But the writing becomes cliche when they argue. The writing is poor. Like, they'll get into arguments that are very heated between a married couple, and they say shit that like is cliche to write between a married couple arguing, which sort of I didn't like, because the acting was amazing, cinematography was amazing, the story had this ability to be amazing, and then the writing fell flat, so that sort of sucks. But overall, I think it was great. It's only an hour and a half, so it's worth watching, I think. But just know that, like, although it had all the properties to be a really great movie, it isn't. But it is very good. 6 out of 10. And then I followed that up with a movie that was recommended to me by my cousin Tim. Shout out Timmy's Take. I love that man. He's great. We usually sit and talk about movies every time I see him. He loves movies like I love movies. He'll sit down and just watch a bunch of them. And he recommended to me a movie called Shotcaller from 2017. I had seen this on Netflix over and over again. It stars Nicolaj Coster-Waldau. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Otherwise known as Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. And he plays a man who is put in prison for accidentally killing his best friend while driving drunk. And while in prison, he becomes indoctrined into the Aryan Brotherhood. And then he's released, and shit goes down. I'm torn between this movie, because as a movie, it's not great. Writing falls flat. It's the cliche story of, he gets out and he's got to do shit to protect his family by going against the gang. Like, you know what you're in for. It's not going to blow your mind. That being said, the violence in this movie is fucking violent. The action parts are really great, and it is well acted, but it's not the best movie ever. But I liked it. It's one of those like guilty pleasure movies, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to tell people to watch this for a good movie, but if they want like an enjoyable movie that they can sort of sit there on their phone and look up and know what's happening, this is the movie for them. So with that being said, I know it's going to piss off my cousin. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. Sort of meh, but not the worst. And that is everything I watched this month. I think this month I'm gonna have to watch like an Oscar-winning movie or something just to jumpstart my palate, because I've been watching a mixed bag of movies lately. But if you liked it, please like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike the video. I don't give a fuck. I know all you people. Just text me if you didn't like the video. If anybody has any recommendations for movies, please send them our way. As always, like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you. I'll see you guys in like 20 days with a new list, because we're halfway through July. So that's exciting. Thank you for watching. Adios.